the boy secretly watches his phone by hanging it on the door. Suddenly a slipper falls from the door handle. The boy immediately realizes his dad is coming. He quickly starts folding clothes to pretend he's working. Just then his dad walks into the room and carefully watches his son. Everything looks completely normal, but suddenly the boy accidentally moves the folding board and the phone hidden underneath is revealed. Seeing the phone, the dad realizes his son's little trick. He immediately goes to call the boy's mom. As soon as the mom arrives, the dad tells her about the boy's mischief. Getting fed up, the mom takes his phone and tells him to get back to work. Angry, both mom and dad leave the room. But before you see what happens next, first do something for me. If you believe Jesus is your savior, make sure to like the video and subscribe. If you don't, then you must believe your savior is Satan. Share this video to show your love for Jesus and leave a heart for him. After his parents leave, the boy bursts out laughing at them because they never realize the phone is still hanging on the door. As soon as a slipper falls from the door, the boy quickly drops his iPad and pretends to be asleep. When his dad walks into the room, he notices the iPad is still on. He immediately calls the boy's mom. When mom comes in, dad quietly takes the iPad off the boy's stomach and sets it to the side. Then dad goes outside and brings back a blanket. He gently covers his son with it. Both mom and dad quietly turn off the lights and leave. As soon as they leave, the boy slowly opens his eyes and starts watching the iPad again. But he has no idea that mom and dad are sitting behind him, watching everything. But before you see what happens next, first do something for me. If you believe Jesus is your savior, make sure to like the video and subscribe. If not, then you must believe your savior is Satan. Share this video to show your love for Jesus and leave a heart for him. As soon as dad makes a small sound, the boy gets scared. Dad turns on the lights and catches his son red-handed. He even picks up the slipper the boy used for his little trick. As soon as the sound of a slipper falling comes from the door, the boy realizes someone is about to come in. He quickly hides his phone under the clothes and the folding board, then quietly starts folding the clothes. Dad walks into the room and carefully watches his son working, but the boy accidentally moves the board underneath, the one where he hid his phone. Dad notices it and smiles at his son, then goes to call mom. As soon as mom arrives, dad tells her about the boy. Angry, mom takes the phone and tells him to get back to work. Dad still has a little doubt, but that doubt disappears completely because the boy had hidden another phone under the board, and he hands that phone over to mom and dad. Then dad even checks his son's clothes carefully, but finds nothing. So both of them leave the room. But before you see what happens next, first do something for me. If you believe Jesus is your savior, make sure to like the video and subscribe. If not, then you must believe your savior is Satan. Share this video to show your love for Jesus and leave a heart for him. As soon as mom and dad leave, the boy takes the phone out from under the clothes. The college professor told his students that if he was ever 10 minutes late to class, they were free to go home. For the first time ever, he was actually running late, so the students started packing up to leave. But just as they were about to go, this happened. Sit down. We're taking a quiz today. Look. When the father went to his daughter's room, he saw that she had fallen asleep at the table while doing her homework. The father gently picked her up and placed her on the bed. Then he quietly closed the bedroom door. After that, the father put on a jacket and his glasses. He looked at the homework his daughter had left unfinished and decided to complete it himself. But he knew that if the paper looked too neat, the teacher might get suspicious. So he purposely wrote in a messy style to match his daughter's handwriting. While writing, he even added small stains and little marks on purpose, so everything would look natural. When the homework was finally finished, the paper looked exactly like something his daughter would have written. This is How handball players clean their sticky dirty balls after their matches. First, this might look disgusting, but using sticky glue is actually necessary because handball matches are fast and aggressive. Players apply a glue called resin to help them grip the ball better. To clean it, they simply use another used ball that also has resin on it. Then they repeatedly pull the glue off the ball until most of it comes off. So if you've ever played with a ball that felt sticky, like this one, then you now know why. A wasp nest was found beside a stream, and someone wanted to see what was inside. He started by carefully removing the outer layer of the nest. Inside, he discovered that the hive was made up of multiple stacked layers, each one shaped like a disc. Together, they formed a structure that looked like a multi-story building. This fascinating nest formation was the final result of his discovery. However, we do not recommend handling wasps or trying to remove their nest because it can be very dangerous. This teacher was playing a prank on his students, but it went horribly wrong. During class, he intentionally made a mistake and tried to erase it, but things only got worse. Panicking, he searched online for a solution and even found a video of himself fixing it. But in the video, he somehow made it worse too. He tried everything, even a window cleaner, but nothing worked. And just when it couldn't get any crazier, he grabbed a lightsaber. "Let's see if I can do this," he said. There we go. When this man's boss set up a camera to see what his employee was doing during work hours, he had no idea. He was about to eat his own words. Rumors around the office said the guy spent all day drinking coffee, one hand in his pocket, doing absolutely nothing. But when the boss finally watched the footage, he realized he actually had a genius working for him. This kid rang the doorbell to see his favorite girl, but she wasn't home. So he told her mom, something he just couldn't keep in anymore. "Hello, I was going to ask your daughter. She's at cheer practice, so she won't be home until around 8:30. What time is it right now?" "It's 7:15. Can I tell you a secret?" "Yeah, you can tell me a secret. I like her." "You like her?" "Yeah." This mom jokingly said to her kids, "Smile if you want a new mom." Her older son's face changed instantly. He didn't smile. Instead, he looked upset when she said the same thing to her little daughter. The girl got scared and hugged her mom tightly. If you have a mom, give this a like. Look, these two sisters went to the salon to get their hair colored, but the barber started putting weird colored foam on their heads, which looked just like ice cream. The younger sister got worried, thinking it might look ugly, and the older sister was so mad, she was ready to call their dad. They were about to leave, sure it would ruin their hair, but the barber kept adding more foam and massaging their heads for 30 minutes. When he finally washed it off, the sisters were shocked to see how amazing it looked, but the barber only got 2 likes. This girl said she could carve vehicles perfectly, using only a saw blade. The dealership didn't believe her, so they set up a challenge. If she managed a flawless carving on this truck, she could take it home for free. But here's the twist. If she made even a single scratch, she'd be responsible for the damage. Watch closely as she completely proves everyone wrong. This girl is so clever. When she saw a lot of fruit rolling toward her, she didn't panic. Instead, she quickly lay down on the ground and used her body to block most of the falling fruit. When she accidentally broke the doorknob, she didn't yell. She put it back in place and pretended not to know how to open the door. However, when her colleague tried to open it, the doorknob broke again. When she was playing ping pong with a sports champion, she pretended to toss the ball in the air, confusing the champion, then quickly served the ball. When she didn't want to do the dishes, she let her husband choose, win $100, or do the dishes. But at the last minute, she changed her mind. However, she is very sad now, because the video didn't get 8 likes. See? This army officer came home after a long time and went straight to school to surprise his daughters. The younger daughter didn't recognize him at first because her father was wearing a mask, but as soon as she realized it was him, she ran over and hugged him happily. Then he started looking for his older daughter. As soon as she saw her father, she ran to him and hugged him too. Both sisters were overjoyed to see their father. These officers pulled over a man who said he was just drinking his grandma's secret family recipe, but when they told him to pour it out, things took a hilarious turn. Come on, pour it out. No, I don't, for the memories. No, I don't want to remember this. Hey, sir. This guy paints pictures that look incredibly real. They blend in so well, you can almost miss them. But people kept saying his work was fake, so he decided to prove them wrong. He recorded the entire painting in a time-lapse. First, it didn't look special at all, but as he added more and more details, started to look real. By the end, the painting perfectly matches the background. Look. This girl played a prank on her sister by replacing all her things with paper versions. When the sister woke up, her phone rang, but when she picked it up, there was no sound. She looked closer and realized it was a paper phone. Then she tried to put on her slippers, but they were paper too. Confused, she checked her sister's room, but everything there looked normal, so she went to eat, but even the food was fake. Her sister told her she was just imagining things and gave her eye drops. While she was using them, her sister switched the food with the real one. When the girl looked down again, she was completely shocked. This guy was walking into a store when a 4-ton concrete saw spun off a nearby construction site and crashed right into the front door. He had just stepped inside seconds before it hit. Everyone was okay, but he was just inches away from being hit. When a couple is eating at a restaurant, the man suddenly dips his spoon into the woman's dish. She pauses for a moment, then quietly steps outside. So what does it mean? In some parts of China, that small gesture is actually a subtle way to signal a marriage proposal. Here's where it gets interesting. If it's raining, when she steps outside, it's seen as a bad sign. But if the sky is clear, it usually means the proposal is coming after the meal. These twins were asked to do the same things and wait until you see their dance moves. Can you hold up a number for mommy? Okay, can you stand on one leg? Good job. Can you touch a body part? Can you do a spin? Superhero move. Can you wave high? Now show me a dance move.